Welcome to the Political Checkmate, and today I'm going to respond to Sam Seder's video, Sam Seder Shreds the Myth of Inequality. And the reason why I am responding to this video is because I recently read the book and I thought it was a very good book, and found Sam Seder's review of the book to be really disappointing. And I'm going to explain why, so here we go.
Ye must be jonesing. Have you heard any buzz about the book, The Myth of Inequality by Phil Graham and John Early? It's all over the right-wing talk radio now, and it's being used as a resource to prove that we spend too much money on the poor as it is, and there's no such thing as poverty in America. Just curious about your take.
The book does not claim we spend too much money on the poor, rather that government data is misleading because they are not fully including the two-thirds of transfer payments to the poor income because these payments are cashless. Another thing the book does not claim is poverty does not exist in America. Rather that if we include the two-thirds of transfer payments and the poverty rate massively declines to less than 3%, which kind of matches with the results of this report by two economists looking at the consumption poverty rate.
If I don't know anything about it, but I know the argument.
Wow, Sam Seder never read the book? What a surprise. I have to say, making a critique of a book is going to fall into many pitfalls, such as missing context of a person's argument and also responses the person could make in the book.
50 years ago, nobody had, only rich people had refrigerators, and now everybody's got a refrigerator.
Yeah, and also,
everybody's got a flat screen TV.
Also, LBJ tried and failed, so we can't. So actually, nothing can be done to help people in poverty. That's going to be the thing. They're Hoover Institution freaks. This is who those guys are.
That is just some of the other arguments in the book. They made a lot more arguments, such as the Gini coefficient numbers having problems, or the rich don't pay their fair share, or the many other arguments in the book. Going back to Sam Seder's argument about how a lot of people have refrigerators or TVs in their homes, Chapter 6 of the book puts holes in the idea of wage stagnation by first showing the quality of life have massively improved. Later in the same chapter, they then expose the flaw of the wage stagnation argument by using the flawed CPIU. The CPIU measures changes in the United States consumer price based on a representative basket of goods and services. The CPIU has been critiqued by the Boston Commission and has shown the problems of the substitution bias in the CPIU. The substitution bias is where they don't account for other options to buy and changes in the product, which could lead to an overestimation of inflation. And instead, if we use the changed CPI inflation that fixes the substitution bias, it looks a lot less worse. While the second argument that the author does not say nothing can be done for the poor, they instead say the way to help the poor is by fixing education for them, by forms of school choice, and one of the studies they cite found that charter school pupils are more likely to graduate high school and have higher salaries than the public school pupils. The authors also recommend getting rid of license requirements for jobs like hair braiding or manicurist, or many other jobs to allow more job opportunities.
The only problem with that argument is if people paid attention to the fact that we just went through 2 years where we cut the number of kids living in poverty by almost half. It was that like we cut by 35-40%, and we just did it like that.
Yep.
Issuance of child tax credits. Bingo, bango. It's just a choice we're making.
Well, the book has responded to the argument that if we include all transfer payments, the poverty rate for children is 3.1%. And no, government does not get the credit for cutting poverty because the welfare state and taxes have discouraged people working because they lose money from the government if they try to earn more money, which basically traps these people into poverty according to what a National Bureau of Economic Research study found.
And nobody talks about it because nobody wants, there is a real agenda to make sure that the American public don't realize it's just a policy choice.
No, poverty is a natural state because if you look at the beginning of humankind, cavemen were naturally poor. And when capitalism came, the extreme poverty rate declined from 90% to under 10%. And living standards have rapidly increased.
We have cut the incidence of cancer in the past 30 years by 30%. 30%. And research shows that it's not a function of coming up with better cures. It is a function of catching it early, which means like having programs for whole health, right? Which you can push by having people have health insurance that makes going to the doctor for preventative reasons cheaper. And by things like banning cigarettes and diminishing the uptake essentially of kids starting to smoke. But, and I got to say, as a former smoker, it's just so much more pleasant to go into a bar now and not stink of that bar cigarettes for weeks. And I say that as a former smoker.
Well, I can barely even remember a time when that was the case. Not to age myself, but.
Well, good for you, Sam, for quitting smoking, but your claim about the improvements in medicine having nothing to do with the cancer deaths is false, because the study that found the decline of cancer by 33% literally said that was one of the causes for the decline. We don't need government to pay for people to visit the doctors. We can instead have a mutual aid society do that. And I don't think banning cigarettes would work because of the black market. After all, prohibition did not work with alcohol. I gotta say, these video arguments are weak and disappointing. But hey, what do you expect when Sam Seder literally did not read the book? But I wanted to make this video to recommend people to read this book with an open mind. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and please donate to my Patreon and have a nice day.